Hi, this is King of Review. Solve the system of equations by substitution. X squared plus x minus y equals -2, and we have y plus 4x equals 8. So what we want to do here is solve this equation for y and then substitute it into the first equation here. So let's solve for y. I'll subtract a 4x on both sides, and I'm left with y equals 8 minus 4x. So now I've solved for y. Now I'm going to plug 8 minus 4x into this portion of the first equation. So let's do that. We have x squared plus x minus y equals -2. And we solve for y here, so we're going to insert that into the parentheses. We have 8 minus 4x. The next step is to distribute this negative sign to each item within the parenthesis. So we have x squared plus x minus 8 plus 4x equals -2. Now let's combine like terms on the left-hand side. We have x squared plus 5x minus 8 equals -2. I want to get a 0 on the right-hand side, so I'm going to move this -2 over. So I'll add 2 on both sides. Now I have x squared plus 5x minus 6 equals 0. I'm now ready to factor this portion of the equation. One method for factoring is using a factorization box. I'll put my x squared term here and my constant term, which is -6, down here. Which two terms multiply together to give x squared? Well, x times x gives x squared. And which two terms can multiply together to give a -6? Well, 6 and -1 multiply together to give -6. Filling out the rest of the box, we have -1 times x gives us -1x, and x times 6 gives 6x. If you add up these two boxes, -1x plus 6x, you get 5x here. So now I've factored this as x plus 6 times x minus 1 equals 0. Next, we'll think about the zero product property. If I have two numbers, let's call them a and b, and if I multiply them together and get 0 for the answer, that means that either a or b must have been 0 to get this 0 for the answer. I could have had a times 0 to give 0 for the answer, or I could have had 0 times b to give 0 for the answer. So applying this to our problem, if I set either of these two terms equal to 0, I'll get this 0 for the answer. So let's do that. Let's set each of those terms equal to 0. We have x plus 6 equals 0, and x minus 1 equals 0. Solving for x, I'll subtract a 6 on both sides, so I have x equals -6. And adding a 1 on both sides here, I get x equals 1. So I have two x values here. The next step is to solve for y. We've already rearranged one of our equations to solve for y. We have y equals 8 minus 4x. So I'll start with this x value, -6. So I have f of -6 equals 8 minus 4 times -6. So I'm just plugging in this x value into here and solving for y. 8 minus 4 times -6, this gives us 32. So we have the point -6, 32. That's one of our answers. Now let's plug in x equals 1. So we have f of 1 equals 8 minus 4 times 1. And this equals 4. So I have the point 1, 4. And this is our other answer. So we have 1, 4, and -632. So letter A is correct. Thanks for watching.